Hello everyone and welcome to I'll Be Sewing. My name is Gina and we're gonna start. Last week we did these little bags here and it was a giveaway, so we're gonna start with that and I'm gonna announce the winners. We had over 500 comments, so it was a random pick. So I'm just gonna give you the names here, and then I'm gonna try to go through the comments and message the person that has won the bags. You can definitely message me through Facebook or even through my webpage, illbesewing.ca, or you can look up on Facebook and send me a message to there. But I will do my best to find you on the comments. So for this week project, I'm actually going to be doing Christmas stockings. I know Christmas stockings, there's a lot of Christmas stockings patterns out there. There's a lot of, probably there's some tutorials out there also. But I want to show, often I get customers that come in, some that ask me how to put them together. There's panels that they sell with Christmas stockings, and so I decided that I'm going to show you 3 different ways of sewing your Christmas stockings. First, we're going to talk about panels, how you can choose fabrics to make your stockings. Of course, you can do with any fabric. So in this case here, this is one that's from Northcott, and that was one that was released this year. And this one here, as you see, it's a panel and has 2 different ones. Has this one here that has with the birds and the white ones, and it comes 2 in each panel. So if you don't have a pattern, this is definitely a way to start. They have instructions here how to sew them together, and we also will kind of look at these instructions, but not so much look at it at the same time, because they look pretty straightforward, but often people sometimes don't get a little confusing how to put them together. So I'll show you 3 different ways. Certain ways a little easier, some ones a little, so you can decide which one will be easier for you. Also, we can do these stockings with different type of panels. I'm going to show you one here that I have, this panel here. This is not a traditional Christmas, but this would look gorgeous in a Christmas stocking. And I will be cutting this panel. I created a pattern, a see-through pattern, that I will be putting on top here and cut this into a stocking. See, if you draw your pattern in a C3 paper, you can see exactly where you want it, and then you can definitely cut this into a Christmas stocking and will look really pretty. So I will be using one of these as one of our stockings that we're going to do. Also, let me show you a different one, a different panel that you can also, just to give you different ideas that sometimes Christmas stockings doesn't have to be all traditional, can be traditional, or sometimes you see a gorgeous panels, you don't do quilting, and you don't really know what to do with them. But there's several things we can cut panels into. Oh, about this one, which is a Christmas tree with the little dogs, and it's a very adorable panel. How about if we cut it into a stocking? So since we have our C3 paper, we can go here and kind of see where we need our foot to be. Let me see if I push it up a little bit to see if we can see a little bit. And I can definitely cut it here for a stocking. And then you're probably wondering, oh, but then there's these dogs here, what we're going to do with it. If I do cut this one into a stocking, I probably would also then go around here, cut these as an applique, because the way they've done here on the panel, they're really easy to go around the faces of the dogs and cut them out. And I probably would do another stocking and use these maybe on the foot as an applique and create a really lovely Christmas stocking. So hopefully this gives you enough ideas. So we're going to start with the first stocking and the first way that we normally, the traditional way of doing a Christmas stocking, and then I will be showing 2 different other ways that you can put them together. So I end up cutting that panel, this one here, and I have them cut out here, as you see. And what I did, I added, I don't know if you can see if it's visible, but I add crystals to these stockings. So it gives you a little bit of more of a detail, so it might be a little hard to see on camera, but I added little crystals all over the the little design here, just to add a little detail. And this one, as you see, I just fused it with fusible fleece. So I have my two here, and I also traced some lining for these also. I have my lining here that I cut to the same, and I also have the white one, as you see here. This one here that I have here is done with fusible fleece, so I didn't quilt it, I didn't do anything, I just fused the fusible fleece and left it that way. And I'm gonna add the lining. This one here, again, if you see it, I did add also the crystals. I put some of those nice crystals you can just iron on to give a little bit more of a shimmer, a little bit more of a design. And this one I actually quilted a couple lines, as you see, and I use batting instead. So give you different ideas what to use with your stockings. You can use fusible fleece, batting. You know, there's so many different interfacings that you can use. Also, I cut 2 pieces of lining, also the same size as these, to sew them. Then the one that I told you that I cut it, there you go. I have it here. So I trimmed it down, and there it is. I also added to the feathers, I added all these little crystals. Again, I don't know how much you can see of the crystals, but I think you can see they're all over here to add a design. And on this one, as you see, was my own pattern that I created. I make it bigger, and what I did is I quilted, and I used a fusible foam to the back. I drew lines, and I just sewed them down before I added all the crystals. And this is what it looks like. You know, so we'll also be sewing that. I also cut 2 pieces for lining for the inside. And that's this one. This was one last year panel that I had. Also was a panel, was a Christmas panel. This was from Northcott, and has this really cute car. So what I did, I add the beads and the trees, and you know, so I created a lot of interest. I cut the panel down, and I cut it into 2 different stockings. One had a red car. Unfortunately, I don't have this panel anymore, but I'm also going to be showing you. I'm going to be showing you this one, how to put it together. So we're going to start with the basic one, and then I'm going to be showing other different ways of putting it together, okay? Of course, for all of these, we're going to need to prepare a couple pieces to hang these stockings, right? So I have 4 here that I already prepared. So what I did is I cut 2.5-inch strips. And what I did was I folded to the middle, and then the 2 centers to the middle again, and folded again to create a piece like that. But you can use ribbon, whatever you have around. If you want to use ribbon, you can definitely use that also. I chose just to use some of the pieces of fabrics that I have sitting around and doing it that way. So I have my 4 strips here already ready to go. So let's start with the first one. So, oh, I forgot to mention, this is also going to be a giveaway. So leave a comment, and these 4 stockings, will be a giveaway. So just leave a comment like last time, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll pick up the winners also. And I will try to add a little surprise into the stocking to the person that won. Okay, so let's go here with the first one here. So I have this first one, and the traditional way that they tell you on the instructions, they tell you to put right sides together like that and sew this around. Okay, you're gonna go ahead. I will, when it has a design like that, try to match your design. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go here and see where I have that design that I want put together, and I'm gonna put the pin. Again, go here, match my lines. Here has the tip, also has some lines here. So, and I can go ahead now and sew this around. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the same with my lining. I'm gonna put right sides together and sew them all the way around, so I end up with 2 pieces. Okay, so I'm gonna put this to the side until I get to the sewing machine, and now I'm gonna show you the second one. So we have the second one here. The second one, we're gonna do it slightly different. So we're gonna grab our lining that I have here, and I'm gonna go ahead on this one, and I'm gonna find right sides together, right sides of the lining with right side of the fabric. We're gonna put it together just like that, and we're gonna go ahead and just sew the top here. So we're gonna go ahead and sew only the top. So I'm gonna put a couple pins. So this is one side, and then the other side the same thing. I'm gonna put it down, gonna grab my lining, put it right side of the lining, right side of the stocking. I'm gonna put it together, and I'm gonna go ahead and sew just the top here. Okay, our third stocking, our first step of doing this is doing the same thing as I did this last one, is putting right sides together, right side of the stocking with the right side to right side, and sew the top. Okay, and then I'm going to show you where it's going to change. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So right side, that's my back with right side. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine, sew all of these, and I'll be right back. So I'm back. So the first stocking, the way the instructions comes in the panels, it tells you to sew it together like that and sew some lining, and then turn one of them to the right side. So in these areas here, it's always good to cut a little bit of corners, and in this case here I only have 1/4 inch about seam allowance, because they're small stockings. You don't want to sew a big seam allowance because they end up very small. So it's not going to be too much of a problem if you don't cut it into the curve, so it should still turn pretty nicely. So but if you see, what do you want to do? You want to have the design going across like that, and also on the top the same thing, going all the way across. So then what are you going to do? You're going to get the piece that you want to do for hanging. So, and you're going to go ahead, and on the back of your stocking, you're going to put one on one side, one on the other side of the seam, just like that. And you can take this to the machine and secure it in place so it doesn't move, so you're not going to be sewing over pins. Then what are you going to get your lining that's still on the wrong side, and I'm not even going to turn it to the right side. I'm going to leave it on the wrong side. I'm just going to open, and I'm going to go ahead and put all of this one in there. Okay, I'm going to bring it all the way to the top. Match this seam here. And you're going to match the seam here in the back. And you're going to go ahead and do a seam all the way around, leaving an opening here somewhere on the top to turn it inside out. If you don't want to leave an opening here on the top to turn it out, if you prefer to leave it on the inside, when you're sewing this piece together, you can leave an opening somewhere here in the side to turn your stocking out to the right side. And this is one way of doing the stocking. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this around. I'm going to put a couple of pinches to secure it, to take it to the sewing machine. and then our stocking would be done. It's very simple. It's quite fast. The second one that we're going to be doing, remember that I told you only to sew the tops. Sew the top with the lining and top to the lining. Okay, so this is what we have. So now what we're going to do on this case here, we're going to get our part to hang our stocking. We're going to go here to a little bit, I would say about ½ inch to 1 inch down from where the two fabrics are joined, from my lining to my fabric. And I'm going to go ahead and secure it here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put a pin. But it's better to take it to the machine and do a seam to stay in place, because you don't want to leave the pin in there. Then you're going to get your other piece, that's again the same thing, and you're going to go ahead and match the seam here. Match the seam here. If it has some kind of design that needs to match, also try to match it. So in this case, it does have a bit of a design here that needs to match, so I'm going to try to match it. And here on the foot also has a design that needs to kind of match, so I'm going to go ahead and pin it there. This side the same. We're going to leave a little opening here, so what you're going to do is you're going to start sewing here where you're going to leave the opening. You're going to go down, across, this way, up, pass here, go all the way around your stocking, all the way around to where you're going to leave your opening and stop there. And then you turn your stocking to the right side. All you have to do is close the edge and you're done. But I'm going to do that and show you as soon as I sew this all the way around. Okay, this is the second way. This third way that we're going to be doing, so we have this part, as I told you, to sew just the top, like the second way, like that. So in this case, what I want you to do, I want you to fold this nicely like this. Put your fabric evenly and go ahead and do a seam all the way around just the front side and leave it that way. Okay, you're going to secure the lining to the front with a little seam right at the edge, only to the front side. I'm going to go ahead and do the other two, do this part here, and we'll keep going with the instructions on this one. So our first one, so I have mine a little opening in the side to turn inside out. I have the stocking like that. So now I can go ahead and turn it right to the right side. Okay, I can go ahead and sew this here, this little opening. Then I'm going to turn this to the inside of my stocking. I'm going to adjust everything after it's fixed. I'm going to go ahead and do a top stitch around here. Do a top stitch. And our stocking is done. Okay, so all you have to do, close the hole and do a top stitching. This one here, if you don't like normally sewing in circles like that, this is a good way of doing yours, because you go all the way around and then really it goes all the way around. Instead of putting one inside the other and try to match the tops, then like this it goes fairly easy like that. So I have an opening here on the side. I also going to turn it to the right side. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead, after you close the lining, you're going to put it back in there just like the other one. Adjust it. And your stocking is done. The only thing I would do here in this case here, because our piece to hold it is this way, so you can go ahead and fold it this way and fold it that way, and when you go across, you see making a little design there. When you go across and doing the top stitch, you secure it here, and then it stays like that neatly. Okay, that's a way of finishing this part here, so we'll stay that way. And our second one is done. Now I have this one, the third way that I told you to do the stocking. So what I told you to do is secure the lining to the right side of your stocking. Okay, so I secure all my lining to there, so, and I have those raw edges. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open my stocking here. This is my backing that has my lining attached to here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these right sides together like here. So I'm going to go ahead, match these here, right sides together. All right. And what is this going to do is it's going to leave your lining attached to your stocking. So you're not going to have a loose lining. So if you prefer that type of look, this is a way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and match this here also. Match to the side. And you're going to go ahead and secure the back to the front. So right sides and right sides, you're going to go ahead and do a seam all the way around. Okay, after you're done that seam, you're going to bring this lining on top, just like this. You're going to bring this lining right on top, like that. And you're going to secure this around again, leaving an opening here. So here, you're going to leave an opening. So you're going to have an opening between this lining and this lining here to turn it inside out. All right, so does it make sense? So let's look again the way we're doing this. We have this one open completely. Okay, then I have the one that's my right side with my lining already attached, right sides to right sides facing. I'm going to put it right on top facing here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and secure these three pieces together all the way, right like a little zigzag or something right at the edge, just to secure them together. Then you're going to bring this lining here on top evenly all the way around. And you're going to do another seam all the way around, leaving an opening here to turn it inside out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I show you before I turn it to the right side. And then I'm going to touch this through the outside versus through the inside. So I saw the piece of lining all the way to the top. I left an opening here, and then we're going to turn it inside out. It's foam, so it's a little bit thicker, but it will be fine because it's a bigger stocking. I wouldn't recommend doing foam in a small stocking. It's better to do in the large ones. The large ones will work just fine. It's just turning it can be a little bit more challenging because you're turning, there's not going to be any, the lining is going to be all attached to the stocking. I'm going to straighten it up. You could do a couple cuts on the curve areas. It will make things a little bit easier. So I'm just going to straighten it up over here, all of it. So now I have this little opening here. And I recommend sewing it by hand. Do a couple stitches here. Okay, or you can use iron-on tape that will stay there permanently. That doesn't come off, that you can iron it on. You can also do that if you don't want to sew it by hand. I will be sewing mine by hand a couple stitches. Then I'm going to turn it to the right side. As you see, the lining is all enclosed in there. It's all attached to the front. All I have to do now is turn it to the right side. And I don't have any loose lining. It's a good way of having, if you fill it, nothing, when you try to take the stuff out, the lining is not going to come with it. It's going to stay put. This type of technique will work for oven mittens. You can do it the same way. So just remember, like that. There's the front. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna touch this here, and I'm gonna go ahead and attach it here. I'm gonna finish these edges, fold it a little bit, so like that, and also do the same thing here. And I'm gonna go ahead and attach this part here to the back of my stocking. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish all those ones there. I will also be sewing this one, and I will be giving these 4 as a giveaway to one of you. Leave a comment and let us know which one you like better, and next week we'll announce the winners when I do my next video. Well, happy sewing everyone. Hope to see you next time, and have a happy holidays.